Hello, and welcome to D&D with High School Students, Season 5. I am Bill Allen. What if that was the whole show? Just that. Okay, so Harris.
Very profound.
Right.
Make a perception check.
Starting this off, okay. Hey, that's the 21.
You hear talking. You're sleeping. You're having a great.
Just the 20.
You were actually having a great dream about finding a perfect spot in the forest, and it was surrounded by butterflies and birds and the most diverse range of flowers that anyone has ever seen, Harris. And then you hear this voice saying, Afarak, and you hear something about Afarak in one of the flowers is talking, but it has Ahkum's voice. And then you wake up and you realize that Ahkum is standing over, talking to a just waking up Lark. Lark, you hear that Ahkum has found someone, and that that person's name is Afarak. And that's a name you know because Afarak is in fact your uncle.
Afarak?
Yeah.
What about him?
Do you know this person?
Pause. Now, Kat, how long has it been since Lark left her people?
Well, like 4 years.
4 years is a lot of time. So much can change in 4 years. Flashback. 4 years ago, something happened with you. Mm-hmm. And that something was you agreed to an agreement. You made a pact. Despite the best wishes of your people and tribe, you made that pact. At that time, your uncle Afarak fought to allow you to continue to live with your people. But he was overruled in a trial by combat, which you only saw the ending of, where he laid bloodied and unconscious in a circle, surrounded by all the members of your people. And then you were banished from your own people, kicked out. So, resume.
There was a man
Oh yeah, that dude.
looking
Hi.
for you. Oh, you're awake.
I'm awake. Yeah, I remember him. He was a weird guy.
He might have known you.
Afarak was here.
Yeah.
Where? Like, what direction did he come from? Why? Did he say why?
Do you know him?
Yes.
How?
I don't see how that's relevant.
There's a few things that I think I want to understand before I tell you where they were.
All right.
Are you on good terms with Afarak?
Yes.
Okay.
He'll gesture to the way that he knows the camp is.
There's a camp of people that way. He was part of them. He looks to be a leader.
We should go then, I think.
Right. Cool.
Winnie's not awake yet, right?
I poked
No.
Winnie with a stick.
Ah,
Hey, I think we're going.
Oh, all right.
Is everyone all right?
What did I miss?
Apparently, remember that guy I told you about?
Oh, yeah, the rock guy?
Yeah, apparently. What?
The rock guy?
Why is he rock?
Arthurok? Something?
Oh yeah.
Art?
Right.
You know.
Apparently Lark knows him, which is cool.
Oh.
You also saw this man.
For like a second, yeah, and then he like walked away. He was like,
he came,
and then he walked away.
I talked to him when everyone else was asleep and he came over here. think he came over here, what, 3 times then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he say anything weird to you?
Nah, it's just kind of weird, dude.
Yeah. Strange? Anything weird to you?
He didn't talk to me. He's just kind of like standing there.
He didn't talk to you.
Come on.
I mean, I used
five.
I used magic to like see in the
talked to the
dark,
weird
and
guy.
I used
Good for
magic to
you.
like see in the dark and stuff.
He was part of the camp that way.
All right.
Do you remember? Do they have weapons on them?
You saw simple weapons, primitive weapons, which is, to your knowledge, pretty befitting of any of the nomadic tribes, whether they happen to be Chamenos, Leonin, Fengari, spears, some bows for hunting, presumably, clubs, axes, that kind of thing.
Any slings?
Slings, yeah.
They
You
had-
didn't see a lot of armor, though. Most of them were just wearing, hides.
He asked me about the orcs. Ogres.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you seemed really concerned about that. Like very.
that's fair.
Like very concerned about that.
And then he went over to some other group that way, and they had weapons and whatnot. Do we want to keep going to
Port City.
Narostama?
Naristama, yes.
There it is. And then from there to the old guy.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's-
I think we still have to warn the city about.
Yeah, we're on a bit of a
Yeah.
time
People.
crunch here.
Let's get moving. Let's get moving. I'm gonna start putting all my things in my basket.
Okay, what other preparations, morning preparations, spells, prayers?
I'm just backing up my stuff.
Nothing, Winnie? You don't need
we-
to do anything?
I mean,
No?
no. Wait. Are we out of like the ancient woods now or whatever?
Yeah, you're basically just at the forest edge.
Cool.
So to your east is a sea of open land and prairie that roughly, if you travel far enough, will eventually lead east to the coast. And somewhere along that coast is Naristama.
Also, I think I do it at night. It's not the morning.
Fair enough. Okay. So you gather what things you need to gather, breaking your rather primitive camp, and then start moving east.
Yeah, I'm gonna. The way that Afrock's camp wasn't due east, was it? It was kind of off in a direction.
No, it was
due
pretty
east?
much due east.
Who's in the same direction as Naristama, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like so if you head through the
head through the
kind of
track
prairie and
I
through that
made.
tall grass and stuff, and then there was sort of like a drop off down to like a lower level that sort of had a very gradual descent towards the coast.
I'm going to follow the trail, the very rudimentary trail I made, towards that camp, and then
Okay.
from there we'll.
Because you had made that trail for yourself, it's pretty easy to like reconnoiter your way through. So you guys follow Ahkum, presumably, and you go through this about a mile of like tall grass and prairie, and then there's this sort of rocky kind of drop off, not quite a cliff, but maybe a 20-foot drop down to another kind of lower level that is a little more like scrubby. It kind of looks like the vegetation here is a little more sparse, but you, with your supervision, Ahkum, when you get out that far, you get to that ledge, there they are. You're like, "Wham." To the rest of you guys, just on the horizon, you see like little smoke and stuff from encampments, but to you see this, everything that you saw, and they're all still there, and campfires and tents.
Naristama. I think we should take a different way, maybe.
This is the way. This is the way.
The coast is that way.
Gesture towards it.
This is on the way to
East.
Naristama, right?
Right, let's go around it then, maybe.
All right.
Why would-
That's fine.
I mean, they can point us in the direction, no?
Probably not.
No, you don't think so?
Nope.
I mean,
No.
They stay in
I
the
think
woods.
Lark just doesn't want to go see these people.
I think that I
And I
don't.
think we should respect that.
No,
I-
I also don't think that they would know, genuinely.
You know what I think? I also don't want to see any people.
Yeah, that's fair. Most people
All
try
right.
to kill you.
I guess I'm gonna take my climbing tools and I'll make a
How
rope
long is the ledge?
thing
You could just
down.
jump off, Harris, because you have
off.
superpowers as a monk.
I jump off and I float.
Yep.
I'll throw a rope down or
Okay.
something.
Yeah, if you guys throw a rope down, you climb.
I'll help secure it on the other end since
Yeah.
we're down there.
You take your time. You guys climb down, and you kind of get down to this lower level. You could go, if you wanted to, avoid that encampment. You could go north and then cut east, or you can go south and then cut east. Which way's Neurostema, Bill? Good question, Josh. Make a survival check with a high DC, because this area is not a place that you all have commonly traveled to.
May I also,
try to-
may I also make this
Do you have
check?
survival?
I have a +3
I would also
wisdom.
like to.
I have proficiency in survival.
Go ahead.
Can I give you the help action?
No.
Can I do it even though I have a
Damn.
-1 to survive?
Nope.
But it's funny.
I love that.
Non-natural 20.
Son of a bitch, Harris. You and your damn wisdom and monk superpowers.
Josh, don't say anything.
All right, fine.
Don't say
Florian feels like recollection serves that Neurostema might be north and east of where you guys are. So if you went north and then cut east, you're more likely to find your way to Neurostema. That's Florian's
That was
assessment.
weird. That was weird. I just had a thought.
Do you need to lie down? Are you all right?
I'm fine. I think it's northeast.
Northeast?
Yeah, it's city.
All right.
So it's like, we can just go that way.
I'll follow Florian's lead.
I guess I'm leading now.
Okay. You kind of make your way along that winding sort of elevation, so you've got kind of like a rocky wall that's 20 feet tall to your left, and you kind of are making your way along. And about a half an hour later, their encampment's well out of sight, and then you sort of turn east. And you notice that this area is, you still don't see the coast. It's not even within a mile of your supervision. So you see a lot of open land, but it's a little more like dunes, basically. It's kind of rocky and sandy, and there are, bushes and little grasses and stuff that grow, but it's kind of a little more of a different terrain as you head north and east. And as you're going along, you also see very large rocks, like boulders, like the kind of thing that you guys have seen as you were in the valley, things that would naturally have tumbled off from the mountains. But what's odd is that there doesn't seem to be a source for these rocks. There doesn't seem to be a reason why they would be here, because it's miles from the mountains.
How eroded do they look? Are they smooth with wind? Are they?
They're fairly well eroded. If you want, you can make a nature check.
You got this. Whoa, no you don't.
They're eroded. That's all you get.
Josh, that is a 0.
They are weathered.
No,
It's not a 0.
it's a 4.
Oh, wow.
Good for you, bestie.
Okay, so you guys are traveling, a couple hours go by, it's late morning, and you see a strange cluster of these large boulders.
Stone tower.
Now, what makes it strange is that there's a circle of 6 of these things. They clearly look like they perhaps were rolled into a circle. And I'm going to say that you see this kind of
Are
from
these ones
100 yards away.
Are these ones also eroded?
They are. They're smoothed, relatively smoothed and weathered. But what, again, makes them interesting looking is that they clearly have kind of a circular, forming sort of a circular pattern.
Wasn't there something about elementals
Yeah, we
coming
thought we
up
already
around the beaches?
I remember punching a rock at one point.
Yeah, there's
You yelled at it.
yeah.
You yelled.
Oh, yeah.
You were
There's
like
something about
shaking
them
it. It
coming
was-
from the coast, kind of. I mean, we could find another rock.
I think we could find another
We
rock
could.
pretty easily.
We might want to
probably
go
just
around
don't-
it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but what if it's funny?
What if it's like a lot of rocks?
What if it's
though?
really cool
Ahkum?
and looks cool?
That's rocks.
And
What
what
would look cool? We'd have
rocks?
Ahkum, there's a lot of rocks in this world.
I mean, look there's 6 big ones
There are
right there.
6. This is true. You found some rocks. We found some rocks. If you want to go by the rocks, go by the rocks. But I think we should go around them.
I'm with Winny on this one.
I mean, but what if like? Remember how there was the big tree with the what was her name? It had an S.
Sibylla.
Sibylla. There it is. Thank you.
Sibylla, yeah.
Ghastly voice from beyond. Sibylla. Remember the big tree?
Yeah.
What if it's like that, but rocks?
Then it's gonna stomp on us.
No, it won't.
No, it won't.
I'll talk to it.
You'll talk to the rock.
Absolutely.
Do you speak rock, Ahkum?
Kind of.
Do you speak rock, Florian?
I wish. That
Do you
sounds
speak
awesome.
rock, Lark?
Surely don't.
I don't think anyone speaks rock.
I can try.
You can try.
I can absolutely try to speak rock.
I really want to speak rock.
Want to speak rock?
You speak rock with me to the rocks.
You're going to get killed. You're all
Yeah,
going to get
you're
killed.
gonna-
No, I'm just gonna follow whoever the majority here.
This conversation's happening 100 yards away,
All right,
right?
Ahkum, how about this?
I just wanted to know if you were still walking towards it.
We're walking.
Boulder,
slowly.
walking towards
Okay.
Boulder, parchment, shears. If I
What's that?
win, we go around.
What's this?
If Boulder, parchment, shears.
What?
Boulder, parchment, shears. Boulder
out of
meets
5.
Boulder meets. Yeah, Boulder
Rock.
meets.
Best out of
We're
5.
going.
Oh, all
I've never
right.
seen that game before.
Boulder, parchment, shears.
Never heard of it.
You
Oh my
always
God.
choose Boulder. That's how you win every time.
Yeah, okay.
We're going
So you're walking
to the
towards the
rocks.
circular. All right. So as you get closer, and again, these are, to give you some sense, they're about 6 feet in diameter. They're big boulders. You get closer, you notice they're smoothed, not perfect like a bowling ball, but they're weathered. You know, like they've been here for a while, and you don't see any like tracks as if somebody had rolled them into these positions recently. They look like they've been there for a long time. The other thing that you notice that as you get closer is that the vegetation around that circle seems to be like more diverse, and it you notice like bushes with berries, and you notice like other grasses and flowers. It's more like the earth there seems to be more nutritious or somehow sustainable. Yes.
Does this look like a fairy circle or some kind of fae thing?
I'll let you make an Arcana check.
I would also like to roll, if that's okay.
Yeah.
11?
I'm also gonna roll because I have.
You don't
limited
get the
druidic
sense that the
knowledge.
fairies would have done something like this for several reasons. Number one, this is kind of outside of their zone. This is too far away from the ancient forest. But also, these are big rocks, and it would have taken either a mammoth amount of physical effort or a lot of magical power to get them to be arranged this way.
So it doesn't look fae.
It doesn't look fey.
How
Who else
big
rolled?
exactly are the rocks?
Like 6 foot around.
Okay.
Like they're big.
I got a 14. Like no anything.
Out of 13.
Kind of the same thing. You guys, you definitely don't think that these are fey oriented. That itch that you have in the back of your mind about it somehow being elemental is maybe more what your gut tells you.
Now, Mr. Allen,
Yes.
I'm unaware of how you rule languages. You got to hear me out for this one. though.
Yeah, go ahead. I can't wait.
No.
Ahkum is a totem barbarian.
Yes.
And he has the ritual caster feat.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So he's a lot of, yeah, I chose the druidic spell list as well. It's a lot of kind of like druidish magic, and he recently talked with Sibylla. Would he know any vague things about druidic, the language? Or
I will
perhaps
say that you
primordial?
could, it's one of those things where like when you see it, you could recognize it, but you're not literate.
Okay. Ahkum's going to try to walk up to one of the boulders and speak rock.
As you guys get closer, you see that in this circle, which is about like the whole span of the circle is probably 30 feet in diameter. So, like 60 feet between each of these rocks. In the center of the circle of these 6 big boulders, you see like basically like an uprising of stone, like just a almost like a pedestal of stone. not man-made. Like it's just very rough rock that looks like it's been there for quite some time. And it looks like there is inscriptions, like carved, like runes, carved into and kind of banding around this rocky pedestal, and something you can't tell because it's kind of like covered in moss. Again, like this is sort of an arid area, so the fact that there would be moss on anything in this dry kind of sandy area is odd to you, but there's kind of like moss on top of this stone table. And it's got a little bit of like a green glow.
Do the runes scream, danger, danger, this will kill you?
Does anyone, what languages are you literate in?
I have Common, Leonin, and then Sylvan. But I was raised by a druid.
I'm going to say the same thing. You would be able to recognize Druidic when you see it, but not necessarily be literate in it. And you feel like some of those runes are familiar to you in some fashion.
Will they kill me?
Make an Arcana check.
Ahkum's walking up to him.
Okay. You walk into the circle, right?
I would like to say I'm being incredibly careful not to make that much of a disturbance. I'm watching very carefully where I'm walking, trying not to leave a trace, pretty much.
16.
You don't sense that anything intrinsically is like a warning of doom. Like you don't recognize like skull and crossbones, kind of that level of runes that are like the rune of death, watch out. You don't see that.
Cool.
As you enter the circle, again, the ground is still that sandy ground that you guys have been walking through for miles, but there's like flowers and things and plants and berries and bushes and stuff kind of spread out throughout inside of this circle that you feel like are out of place, like shouldn't be able to grow here. Does anyone have nature?
I do have nature.
Go ahead and make a check.
Yes, I do.
It's a 6.
Good over there, Bess?
17.
I'm not old enough.
No, 18.
Yet.
Okay, so Ahkum, you're so focused on like not disturbing anything and on that moss-covered table, stone table, that you're kind of approaching that. But Lark, as you're kind of standing just outside of the circle, you see a couple interesting things. You see a couple plants that shouldn't grow here, and you're like, hey, wait a minute. And you pull out that scroll that you guys got from Votano, and you're looking at the little sketches and descriptions that he gave you. Yeah. 2 of the plants that are supposed to only grow in the mountains are right in front of you.
There's a couple of plants here that are only supposed to grow in the mountains.
Where? Point them out, I'll grab them.
There.
So you look at the Votano's little sketches and his instructions. One of them is a plant that you recognize by the top of it, but you're actually supposed to harvest the roots, like the tubers that grow below the surface. And so you kind of go up, you follow his directions, and you extract 2 of these big, almost like giant carrots, basically, like that grow underground.
We've gotten before, or are these like?
No. Oh. These are things that, because you guys didn't go. Remember, you didn't get very much for the mountains. You got the weird root that grew where the tendril thing attacked you.
Yeah.
But like this is a different story. So you start kind of excavating and doing that. And you're kind of showing him which ones to get. Winnie, what are you doing? And I know what Ahkum's doing. What are you doing during this? Are you inside or outside of the circle? Because right now he's walking to the middle of it. They're in the circle harvesting this root.
I'm going to be right on the outside of the circle. Just
okay, so you're just kind of watching.
Yeah.
Okay, Ahkum.
As I approach this kind of stone table, can I... Once I get there, I'll do this. I am trying to, again, leave very little trace of myself. Once I get there, I kind of want to brush the moss to the sides. Is there anything on the table itself other than these runes?
Yes. I mentioned that you saw a faint green glow.
Yeah.
As you brush some of the moss aside, your hand sort of traces along a glassy surface, and the glow becomes more prevalent, and you see It's kind of dirty, from moss growing on it, but you see basically what looks like a facet of a large crystal. Like, when like people find crystals in caves before they're cut into gemstones and they're big, huge things, you effectively see a crystal about the size of this dice box.
Okay.
It's stuck in the rock, but you brush across the face of it and you see this glow, and that's what the moss was growing on. It's glowing, and the crystal has kind of a deep green to it. Almost like an emerald.
Ahkum.
I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
Is that a ritual or is that a
ritual?
Okay. You guys see Ahkum sit down and go into this meditative pose and begin mumbling to himself.
Lark, what's he doing?
I don't know.
You do magic.
Hmm?
You do magic, sir.
What are you doing? Ahkum?
I'm focused on my ritual right now.
Yep. He seems to
up,
be deeply focused on the
buddy?
ritual.
What is the other plan?
What do you want me to do?
I don't know. I just thought you'd know what he's doing.
So as you guys are kind of talking about that, you notice Ahkum doing this. You've harvested 2 of the root plants from the mountains, and then on Votano's cheat sheet for you guys, there's a vine that grows over rocks, and it's a thorny yellow vine, and it has these seed pods, and he needs you to gather 6 of the seed pods. And you see growing on the inside, within the circle, on the inside of one of those rocks, such a vine that matches that description. The picture's almost...
Is it poisonous?
The thorns are poisonous, but the seed pods themselves, if you take them off carefully, are not poisonous.
I'll grab some seed pods then.
Okay. You kind of carefully extract the seed pods and...
I'll come in the circle and help at this point.
Okay. So you guys begin bagging up these seed pods. You've gathered some of the roots, the big tubers. Minutes pass. Ahkum is in a deep trance. Anybody else want to do anything, or are you guys kind of hanging back?
I think we're just collecting plants.
Okay.
Any plants that are on the list that we need here.
Okay. Well, those are the only 2 that from Votano's list. That again he had indicated and even shown you in the mountains where to get these, but for some reason they're here.
Are we taking all of them, or are there ones left?
There seem to be plenty of these things growing here. Ahkum.
Yeah.
Minutes pass, and then you feel empowered to understand what is magic and what is not. How do you perceive magic? How does Ahkum see when something's magic?
I think it's a very visual thing. When he opens his eyes, he finishes the ritual, he will physically see if there's something magical, if he wisps of something, almost like scent trails, if that makes sense.
And per the spell of Detect Magic, what does this spell tell you?
It tells me if, I believe...
The School of Magic?
No, not necessarily. It tells you something, something's magical.
If there is a school of magic, it tells us.
But if there is a school of magic, it tells me that what the school is. I don't think I get what the magical effects are, though. That's identified.
No, it's identified.
I pretty much can see, is something magical, yes or no, and if it has a school, I learn it.
The crystal embedded in this rock radiates magic, burn your eyeballs level of radiates magic. It is the most... you thought that the shield that Sibylla had given to Winny was magical. This is the most powerful source of magic that you've ever seen. Schools. What schools of magic do we have at our disposal? Divination? War? What else?
No. Divination,
It's
necromancy,
abjuration,
illusion, abjuration,
conjuration.
enchantment.
Evocation.
Evocation.
Necromancy.
Necromancy.
Yeah.
Chronomancy, depending on who you ask.
This does not conform to any of those schools of magic, but it's radiating magical power.
While I have this up, I'm going to look at my sword. The one that I've been using, the magic sword. Look at that. Is that magical?
You pull it out and it's glowing. Now, when I say glowing, it's not glowing the same way as the crystal embedded in the rock. You look at your sword, which I had previously described to you as non-magical. Remember? You did detect magic on it, and it wasn't magic. You notice, though, in proximity to this crystal, your sword isn't really steel. It's not iron and it's not steel. The metal has a dull grayish green hue to it.
I'm going to draw the sword and place it on the crystal itself. Do I see anything happen? Any reaction?
It glows like the same green as the crystal. Almost like a conduit, right? If you were to touch something to something else and it was conductive, it seems that your sword is somehow a conduit of whatever energy is coursing through that crystal.
Okay.
You also see something on the sword appear when you touch it to the crystal.
Is it language?
It's runes etched into the sword. They were not there before. You've spent 2 short rests studying the sword. They weren't there before, but now they're clear as day.
In what language?
Not a language you know.
You're going to remember what they look like.
You can actually, as you like look at it and rub your hand across it, you could feel it.
Okay. Is it? No, Ahkum wouldn't know that. I was going to ask, is it familiar to any alphabet that he would know, but I don't think he would know or care that much about
No.
alphabets.
Illiterate.
I want to.
If someone had a certain invocation where they could read all forms of writing, you would easily be able to decipher and unlock this.
Do you have eyes of the Moonkeeper?
What?
Do you have eyes
You
of
guys
the
the
Moonkeeper?
Moonkeeper?
No.
Joke's on you, I was a warlock the whole time.
A monklock. No.
I'd do that. I'd play.
The forbidden build.
No, it's not forbidden.
I'm going to.
Forbidden.
I'm just kind of resting on the crystal right now. I'm going to pivot the sword and apply a bit of pressure into the crystal with the tip of the blade.
Okay.
Any changes?
No.
Okay.
Bad decisions.
Ahkum.
Can I make a check of some sort to determine?
Before you do that, tell me what your totem powers are and be very specific to each totem power.
Okay. My first totem power is Totem of the Bear, which is while I'm raging, I have resistance to all damage types except for psychic.
Okay. Are there any other peripheral totem of the bear powers
To my
or
knowledge, no.
abilities granted other than that?
You're fluffy.
I do
I.e.,
assume.
it only happens when you rage.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. All right. And what's the other ones?
The other one is the Eagle Totem I just recently got, which is the Enhanced Eyesight. And I don't get disadvantage on perception checks and dark vision.
Okay.
I think that's it, though. Again, I do assume some of the qualities of the totems that I take. That's why Ahkum is significantly fluffier, and he has, like, maybe a bird eye, something like that.
Okay.
Or his eyes just glow faintly in the dark.
That's
Can I
terrifying.
make a... I guess this would
Ahkum
be
enters the avatar state.
He sees like a bird just.
just... yeah, I want to make sort of check to determine, is this an effect that I can benefit from? And if so, can I draw more power out of the sword to... There's a few things I want to try to gather. One, is the sword changing? Am I being successful? Two, is this a... Will this provide a outcome that I am satisfactory with? And three, what is the assumed best way to make progress with this?
Well, if you were a divination cleric, you could cast augury. And all of those things could be answered with very vague answers, but you're not. So you guys see him stand up from his meditative thing, and he approaches this table and you could see now just the top of this crystal, and he's like messing with his sword, and he's laying it down on it, and he kind of like puts it on it, and you see Ahkum kind of experimenting. What are you guys doing as you see this?
Ahkum.
Do you need help?
I don't think he'd answer. I think he's very focused.
I don't know. He does this
Can you
sometimes.
throw a rock at him?
That
do
worked
that.
once. Pick up a rock.
Do you want to throw it or should I?
Huh?
Do you want to throw it?
We could both throw a rock at him.
Oh, that's great. I'll also pick up a
Why
rock.
would you do that?
I'm not gonna throw it that hard. His mane will won't hit him all
He's
the way. I'm
pretty
just gonna-
fluffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll a d20 and tell me if you roll a 1.
What does mirthful mean?
Full of mirth, happiness.
It means I get to jump extra high.
It makes you mirthful.
Me jump high. Me jump
It
high.
makes me jump up high.
No,
Count.
no,
Are you a satyr?
no. But I have an idea.
Summon.
What?
Don't. I got a 6.
I have a
to throw
question.
rock.
Would I know if fays
God.
can read runes?
Fae tend to be ancient. If a Fae was ancient, could that Fae maybe know about things? Certainly a possibility.
Okay, Cat. Before you cast this spell, I implore you, inspect the material component.
I don't have that written down, good sir.
Oh no.
What is it on?
Do we have Tasha's over there?
Do we have Tasha's? What's the material component, Harris?
It might be money.
Might be money. Your
Regardless,
name.
like
I'm gonna check.
A random letter
does
of
not
your
apply
name.
to me. Money is subjective in this world.
I'm not certain that's true.
More
5
so
gold
than other
pieces.
worlds,
5 gold
that's for
pieces.
Mr.
sure.
Allen, do you care about spell
me?
components?
It depends on the spell, but go ahead, pitch me your best shot. dude.
Summon fae.
Sure.
Great.
Great.
Don't just. Should I cast summon fae to try and figure out these rooms?
I mean,
Mike got it. I might be able to do something.
I want to see what happens.
I'll
after we
trust.
throw
I'll
rocks
trust
at
Ahkum
Ahkum.
Yeah.
first. Well, I'll trust Ahkum first.
I think. Well, I did roll 15 to hit him with a rock.
I rolled a
You
6.
succeeded.
I rolled a 6.
Your friends have thrown 2 small pebbles at you.
What are you doing?
Snakes.
Oh,
Are your eyes just like?
I think so. I think they do. They are making whatever because I am in a magic.
You
for a minute.
got something in your eye.
I'm gonna pick the rock back up.
Uh,
I'm gonna throw it at. I'm gonna throw it back at you. Yeah. Ooh, that hits.
Deflect missiles. I catch it.
throw it back.
That's a key point.
But you're playing catch.
I'm gonna. Give me a minute.
Florian absolutely. This gets thrown at him. He just snatches it in front of his face.
Give me like a minute. I'm gonna go back to trying to focus.
Want to play catch?
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
I think we're gonna play catch.
This, you're not sure what the relationship is between the crystal and the material that your sword is made of. What the crystal apparently has revealed about your sword is that it is not what you would know as steel, what you had previously thought in its appearance of it looking like steel. This dull grayish green kind of hue that it has, and then the magically revealed runes inscribed on it, don't change the fact that your sword is not magical. Like, you look away from the crystal holding your sword, still active with your detect magic, your sword is not magic. And as you look away, as you kind of turn away, the runes fade. When you bring the sword back closer to the crystal, the runes reveal themselves.
Okay. I think that's all I can gather. Or
I got the summon fae material components.
I'm gonna.
I got them pulled up.
What are they?
I don't have them.
What are they?
It's a gilded flower worth at least 300 gold pieces.
In this economy?
In this account, that's what I'm saying. In this account.
I think it's stupid that spells require gold because money is subjective.
No, because if you cross the border into another country, your 500 gold pieces are suddenly worth 200 if the economy's bad. Like,
Well,
literally.
I get it in like weight in gold,
Weight in gold.
but like
But what if the gold's less expensive?
What is something that you can sacrifice for this spell that is worth approximately that much value?
why did you bring this up,
A
Harris?
single letter of your name.
Yeah.
Faye love those. They'll gobble them up.
I become Lar.
It can be your last name.
Become Ark.
Ark.
Become
I'm gonna
Lack.
place a hand.
Okay.
That's not worth this. No, I don't have anything.
So you're not doing it?
no.
All right, Ahkum.
Lark.
I'm gonna resheath the sword. Is it still that kind of different metal, or does that fade eventually as well?
No, it still has that hue because you're,
Okay.
I'm assuming, like within
Yeah,
a
yeah,
few
yeah.
feet of the crystal.
I'm gonna resheath the sword. I'm gonna place both hands on the crystal.
You feel a tremendous amount of strength.
You found roids. Shit, man.
You feel not just strength, you feel like health. You feel everything that you feel when you rage and you focus on your bear totem. You feel like you could tap into that power without raging right now. And postscript, you also start to hear things within the circle, like you hear a bee flying 30 feet away near one of the flowers.
He's morbid.
You hear the wind like blowing across all of the leaves and bushes, like all of your senses become hyper aware.
This might be a very bad idea. I'm gonna try to focus even more in on that kind of the kind of health aspect of that. I want to try to almost. Ahkum's gonna use a rage, and he's going to try to almost spiritually dive deeper into this sense and kind of phenomenon, if that makes any sense.
Okay. When you expend the rage, instead of the normal kind of feeling of anger, what happens is that you immediately feel like the same sort of bodily physiological transformation minus the anger. You feel like tremors in the earth. You feel like subtleties kind of emanating everywhere around you within this circle.
Can I reach for the magic sword,
Yes?
produce that, and focus that same strength?
So you still have one hand on the
One hand on the
crystal.
crystal.
Okay. You pull the sword out.
And I'm trying to almost draw from the crystal into myself and into the sword. If that makes any sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's a circuit.
I guess, yeah, I'm just trying to pull this kind of feeling into myself, and then from that to the, like, kind of getting used to that process.
Okay. The sword begins to kind of have that
close
glow
the
again,
circuit.
and those runes on the blade appear. This time you can read them.
What do they say?
It's a phrase. Ganag be praised.
My boy Ganag.
Yeah, my boy
Take a
My
look.
boy Ganag.
Ganag
That is
is.
spelled how?
Ganag.
Me and Ganag are like for this.
Ganag.
My boy Gnar.
Yo, Ganar.
Ganag? Is it Ganag?
Can I make a check to figure out who this Ganag character might be?
There's no amount of roll that will ever reveal that to you because there's no one in your circle who ever even remotely would have heard of that.
Awesome. Super cool.
I'm going to take my hand off the crystal and try to quickly move it onto the other end of the sword. While still in this rage, does it maintain the kind of magical essence inside of it, or does that fade?
It's still glowing. You could still see the runes.
Okay. I'm going to return my hand on the end of the blade back to the crystal, and I'm going to shout/roar as loud as I can that phrase, Gnog be praised, to the sky.
What is he doing?
Wow. Okay. What's your highest ability score between strength and constitution?
Con.
I want you to make a percentile roll.
Okay.
Ahkum doing the most baller shit.
We're playing
41.
catch.
We're bringing about the end of the universe.
What is your con? Shh. What is your con?
17.
And what'd you roll?
41.
And what level are you?
6th.
You yell that really loud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if you would yell it in the language or in your own language. So here's what happens. You guys see him playing around by the crystal and you're kind of getting bored. And then you see he does this thing with the sword and he holds it and then he says, "Ganagalabathatush," and he just yells something in some language that you've never heard before.
Do I get the sense something happened? Or there was...
You all get the sense that something happened because the runes that are carved into the stone table begin to glow green.
Ahkum?
Can I
Ahkum.
use another rage and shout the phrase again?
Yes. He does it again, and this time there's something different with his voice. It's lower. And when you like lean forward and do it and you thrust kind of up like that, you guys notice something different. You could tell, because you've seen Ahkum rage before, you could tell physically that he looks different, right? His musculature kind of becomes he becomes ripped. This is different. He seems literally stronger, but also maybe 6 inches taller.
Whoa.
Lark is like slowly becoming convinced that he's getting possessed.
Yeah, same, I think.
Do we want to start throwing more rocks?
More
again?
rocks?
I don't. I'm kind
You
of
feel more powerful than you've ever felt. What's your strength?
15.
It's now 18. Not permanently. Don't get too excited.
Ahkum.
I'm going
Your constitution is what?
17.
It's now 18.
Oh, wow.
That's 6 more hit points.
I'm going to stand up onto the rock table, sword both.
What is he doing?
What is he
One hand on
doing?
the other end of the sword and raise it and shout again.
Okay, he's shouting this a third time.
That's never.
Make another percentile roll.
Good.
54.
The runes on the carved, or that are carved into the stone table are still glowing, you guys. They're glowing green. The crystal on top of it's glowing green. He's now kind of standing on the table, straddling the crystal. You also notice, those of you who are being perceptive, that the plants in the circle are growing.
Does this whole interaction seem malicious to me?
Does it?
Can I like make a roll?
No.
No, okay.
You can I'm telling you this as a player, but I think it's valid because your character is seeing this. All of you are seeing these things. Mm-hmm. Have you seen anything malicious
No.
yet? The thorns grow,
Yeah.
they sprout new seed pods, the plants start to grow, the moss even starts to kind of the moss that you kicked aside, starts to grow down on the table.
Maybe he's just grown things?
I'm not too sure what's going. He sure is yelling.
Yeah.
You see at least 4 or 5 new flowers sprout out of Florian's hair.
Oh.
What, if anything, are each of you carrying that would be considered alive in terms of like plants?
I have a big hat on, right? That just has flowers on like the brim of it.
It sprouts an entire new wave of flowers, like to the point where you kind of feel it get heavier and you take it off and you're like, wow.
I have an entire goat corpse.
Nothing happens with the goat
Is
corpse,
Vermont
but I do
still
have to
on
tell
you?
you something.
Where's Vermont?
Vermont's not on you.
I think I have Vermont.
Vermont was tagging along, though, obviously.
I think
You guys
I
look
have
over
him.
to Vermont as you're thinking this. Vermont is at least double his size. Vermont now is about 5 feet tall. You also notice that Vermont's musculature has changed.
He's literally a little boy.
He's cut. All 4 of his arms are just sinewy and rippled with muscle. His legs, his body, his like
have to send him to
the
public school
Spectre body type of like the Teletubby, big tummy full of food is now it's like he doesn't have an 8-pack, but basically he's like he is evolved in some way
He's the
that
same
you've
height as
never
me.
seen before.
He's taller than me.
He's taller than Winny.
None of us are any taller.
And you
right?
notice he's like looking around and not. It almost seems like he's not self-aware because he's just sitting in the grass like playing with like sand
He
and
doesn't
stuff.
look like he's gained like sentience from
He
the
doesn't
height.
realize that he's bigger, is what you guess.
Mr. Allen, I imagine like the flowers I have around like my belt and that kind of stuff is
Yep.
also okay.
Anything that would be considered living material,
My wood carving wood.
no, because that's carved already.
Okay.
Same thing with the plants that you harvested; those didn't change. But the plants that you harvested those things from have all grown in size.
I'm going to. Have I felt these changes myself?
Yeah.
Okay.
You feel it.
I'm going to continue. I'm going to kind of, as loud as I can, like as much noise as I can physically muster, and from my legs and thrust into the air and let out this gnawed be praised again.
Make one more percentile roll.
Ahkum licking up Lark's entire family.
Are you using a rage to do this?
I will use my penultimate rage, yes.
Okay.
The Clark dice.
11.
Oh no.
As Ahkum does this again, he grows another foot. Your strength is now 20, your constitution's 20, and
going on
something
here?
else is heard. You guys hear the sound of rocks, kind of when you take rocks and like crunch them together. And you see that the 6 giant boulders around the circle are breaking apart. You see seams like, you hear like cracking of the rocks, and they're cracking and breaking apart as if they're being sundered. You can actually feel like the earth moving as these 6 giant boulders are moving.
You want to get out of the circle, or are we staying in the circle?
Are we? I thought we were out of the circle.
I'm getting out of here.
I was
As you
already
guys
out,
go
yeah.
to move away from the circle,
Is Vermont still in the circle?
Vermont like looks up now because he's like,
If he's still in the circle, while I'm sprinting out, I'm just gonna grab him on my way.
you go to pick him up and you're like, huh, and he's
I'm using astral self arms.
okay. You pick him up with the arms, and he's like, "Rawr!" And he like looks back over his shoulder at Ahkum. The boulders continue to break apart, but this time they're moving in a weird way, and you notice that each one of them is taking on a form, like with legs and a torso and arms and a head, and all 6 of them
Animals or like
humanoid.
Okay.
All 6 of them stand up, and they are 12 feet tall.
Ahkum, what did you do?
You see 6 humanoid forms of rock all in the circle, all facing the center where the crystal is and where you're standing.
I'm gonna put Vermont down.
What do you seek? You hear a voice, Ahkum, that's not in a native language that anyone here speaks, but
Do we hear this, or is this?
you hear blah, 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 blah. Like you hear this low, like an earth tremor almost. You hear this sound come out.
I cast tongues.
Is that instantaneous?
I'm checking.
As you're checking that, Ahkum, you hear this voice ask, what is it that you seek?
Ooh.
Servant of Ganag.
Shoot. Can I get a sense of what it's asking by what do I seek? Is it asking for a personal goal or quest?
That inference is up to you, my friend.
It's one action.
One action?
Yep.
So you hear blah, 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 and you're like, ooh, I want to understand this. And
It's
then
more like
you cast the spell.
Yeah.
And you see Ahkum just standing there like,
Is this voice disembodied or is it coming from
it's
the...
disembodied. It's coming from the circle, but you're not sure if it's one of the 6 rock giant creatures or if it's coming from the crystal. It's in the understanding of what was said is in your mind.
Mm-hmm. Shoot.
This has escalated very quickly.
I seek strength so that I may protect both this world and its inhabitants.
You have taken a weapon blessed by Ganag. With it, you shall serve in this capacity.
Are you voice, the voice of Ganag?
I am not Ganag. We serve the gods. I speak for Ganag to those who are faithful. Ganag cannot hear your prayers in this place. Only because of this god tier can I now speak with you.
Does Ganag wish to protect the land and those that dwell off of it?
Ganag protects the land and those who dwell off of it, but this land is forsaken. Ganag wields no power here.
We can change that. We can change that.
Who controls these lands then, if not Ganag?
No one.
Why? These are wild lands. lands in which people live off of, are they forsaken? How?
All who dwell here are also forsaken.
By whom?
By their own actions. This is a place where those who dwell are either damned or have an opportunity to prove themselves as redeemed.
Am I damned?
All are damned until they have been redeemed.
How can I become redeemed?
At this point, you feel like all 6 of the large older humanoids are standing as if they're waiting for something. Like they transformed into these large humanoid forms, and they're literally standing. This whole time they've just been standing watching. When you say, "How can I be redeemed?" all of them take 1 step forward. The circle shrinks a little bit, and then they stand again.
What are they saying?
They're asking. I've been like translating this whole thing, so I suppose
Okay.
gotta be redeemed somehow.
I don't. Why are we all damned?
I don't feel very damned.
I ate one painting.
You ate the painting?
What?
You ate it?
Yeah, it looked like food.
I know you told me that. I didn't think you ate it.
It
We'll
was,
we'll deal with that later. Okay. I think they want to fight him? Maybe?
Certainly hope not.
Yeah, I don't know.
if this goes
Do
terribly,
they have weapons?
If this goes terribly wrong, I'm gonna grab him.
No.
Oh, okay.
Redemption is for each individual. There is no set path. You must fulfill your destiny if you seek redemption. Only through redemption can you leave Chamenos.
Can I... Or rather, would I be at all familiar with any kind of rhetoric or phrases around destiny that my tribe would have used?
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, all of the peoples, all of the different cultures have different interpretations of fate and destiny, and a lot of them have to do with fulfilling some kind of heroic code, or completing a quest, or some of them just have like simple, what you'd call alignment, right? Like a code of behaviors and actions, in terms of how to live your life. And there are a wide variety of these beliefs. Remember also that the Kamina, the human people native to this continent, don't follow other gods. There's only one god in their view, and that's Sinkaron, who is sometimes viewed as the god of death, sometimes viewed as the god of fate.
Would the Razormanes have had any particular stance on destiny and its...
Essentially, your people would have believed that living a good life and living a free life, aka chaotic good, but living a good life and living a free life and is the best way to live, and also
respecting the land.
But dying in battle or dying in a noble cause is also considered something amongst your people as a great honor, or having fulfilled a great life.
And generally was viewed that as a people you had a grasp of your own destiny and the ability to control it.
Yeah,
with
your
will.
people didn't believe that there was just one set destiny or fate for everyone. They believed that you forged your own fate.
Okay.
And that's why, whether you just lived a good life and honored the land and honored your people and your family and grew into old age and died, or if you died in service of protecting your people or in some heroic quest, any of those could be construed as fulfilling your destiny.
Hear me, voice of Gnog. I will forge a destiny in which the land may look upon me, and that the beasts that dwell upon it, along with any other creature that wishes to live a life they create, that they may live in balance. Any who wish follow the banner of the Razormane, I will lead. I will.
Can I make a religion check? How to, general hymn speech and, how to construct something like that?
Ahkum becomes a preacher.
Razor Star, let's go.
I'm not going to say a check or a die roll is needed because you feel like you are in a very spiritual moment right now. Like you feel like you are speaking with divinity. This is the most primal feeling that you've had since your tribe basically was massacred.
Okay.
From an emotional and kind of primal standpoint, like you feel closer to your totem, more so the bear totem right now.
Can I rephrase what I said prior?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Oh, man. And throughout this entire conversation, just for sake of my own phrase and whatnot, I've gotten the sense that this Gnog divinity is very in line with my own beliefs, and that, the kind of idea of living off the land, protecting the land.
Your intuition is that the land, you said it, right? Like you get this gut instinct that the land, earth, the strength that's been imbued in you right now, it's all kind of connected somehow.
Hear me, voice of Gnog. I will, in order to fulfill my own destiny and find redemption, live from this land, for this land, and with this land.
And I think I'm going to lower the sword.
By lower the sword, what do you mean exactly?
I was holding it up like
Okay.
this.
Okay.
I will lower it and sheath it.
Okay. You do. There is silence.
Do my stats change?
Huh?
No.
Not yet? Okay.
Are the big stone people still here?
They're still standing. The big stone people are standing at attention.
Is Vermont still 5 feet tall?
Yes, and all the plants that grew are still big.
Ahkum? Ahkum, what was that?
You good?
It's a minute past.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Detect magic's down.
Isn't it's
How
10
tall is
minutes.
Ahkum now?
I think Ahkum is 8'11" currently.
Josh, detect magic's 10 minutes.
It's 10 minutes. Never mind. Are these rock creatures magical? I'm assuming they are.
They are. They weren't
just grew
before.
It just grew like 2 feet in like a minute.
You're extra big now.
Yeah. Where are you guys?
You kind of gesture to the rock people.
You say, who are you guys?
Yeah.
When Ahkum says, when he turns to look at the rock people, he says something in a language that you guys aren't familiar with. You speak to them in primordial.
Oh,
Good language.
And one of them doesn't speak back, but it kind of like grinds its rocks together. It sort of puts its like rock hands together and grinds them together and makes a series of sounds that convey a message to you in primordial.
Okay. What is that
We
message?
serve you until the next dawn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Ahkum,
new friends.
Ahkum, Vermont's big.
Oh, he is.
He's taller than Winny.
Listen.
All of our,
He's almost taller than you.
Back
he's
to the
almost taller than me.
Golems? Elementals?
Elementals.
Which way is Narrowstamos?
Florian's just gonna like.
Narrow stem.
And it points kind of east by slightly northeast.
How fast are you?
And it crunches its hands together, and again in primordial, you receive a message. It depends on if we're walking or rolling.
Roll out.
Rolling is much faster.
Can we ride them when they're rolling?
And we turn you into wheels.
I'm on a cart.
Hey, guys. Narrowstamos is that way.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You wanna go?
I mean,
I mean, yeah, that's where we're going.
Yes,
Awesome.
I think so.
What's the deal with these guys?
They're friends.
They're friends. I love friends.
Ah.
Can you lead us to Narrowstama?
They all turn at the same time, and they start taking these big steps, big lumbering steps. Now they're bigger than you. They're just walking. So I'm going to say that their walking speed right now is basically the same as you guys.
Okay.
They begin marching, and they kind of form
wow.
two columns. So it's like 3 of them and then 3 of them, and there's about 30 feet in between the two columns as they're marching towards Narrowstama. When they all walk, they walk in unison, and it's not quiet. Like
Yeah.
it's like, you know, because there's 6 of them, and they're kind of walking.
So, Mr. Allen.
Yes.
So, all of, like the organic plant material grew and whatnot. My astral arms are like tree based. They're like trend arms, I guess. Did anything happen to them or no?
No.
Okay.
Because they're astral.
Got it.
Are you guys following?
Vermont crawls up on you,
Yeah.
and you're like, Vermont's larger, like and heavier, but you could still you with your newfound strength, you don't feel like this is an issue. As you guys start to move away from this space, the green crystal embedded in the stone table, sort of the green glow fades.
Okay. Wow.
What? What was that? What'd you do? Why are you bigger?
I had a very, very nice conversation.
You were
Are
just
you a
kind of
cleric
yelling.
now?
Equivalent paladin.
Like
Yeah, you should multi-class,
You know.
man.
stuff I do?
No, I spoke to the voice of Gnog.
Are they all like a different god?
What's a Ganag?
I don't know. Sounds like a fun guy though. Like kind of.
Oh, it's a guy.
I think it's something. I think it's the land, but not this land. This land's forsaken.
Oh yeah.
We're all sinners.
When he told me
Yeah.
that, I don't get that.
I don't
think-
understand
I don't
that
think,
either.
I don't think
I
we're
think
sinners.
it was like Sabia was telling us like all the bad people got banished here like a million years
Yeah, I
ago.
remember that.
And so it's kind of like a sins of the father situation where it's like we didn't do anything, but like one of our ancestors did like 1,000 years ago or something like that. So maybe we're all going to hell. I'm not sure. Maybe it isn't real. Who knows? Anyway.
I wouldn't worry about it.
But now I think I'm fighting and or following Gnog.
Fighting.
You don't seem
Fighting
very sure
for-
about that.
I don't know. I don't know.
I still have tongues up. I'm gonna turn to like the nearest statue. So are you the voice of a god?
It's like, and in Primordial, it's like, we are servants of the land.
So of Gnog, not like the other ones?
I don't know what that means.
Well, wait, Ahkum. Gnog's like, never mind. They're not gonna. They're rocks. I ain't talking to the rocks anymore.
I really.
Why? They're very nice.
Well, no,
Oh,
they're
wait.
nice, but
you
I
think
don't
they can
think
teach me rock?
Can you teach us how to speak rock?
It will take a long time.
Well, we got a long walk.
You are made of flesh. You do not have that much time.
Ahkum's gonna look for 2 rocks on the ground.
I have rocks. I have rocks on me.
I think they're saying step 1 is turn into stone.
We
I can do that actually.
We
Kind
were
of.
playing catch when you were doing the.
Oh, really?
Wait.
Yeah.
Can I
No.
try?
I can like
Sure.
push you into
Toss you
stone, and then like you couldn't like.
You
get
rub the
out.
rocks together.
Yeah.
Ahkum, that's offensive.
You wait for a response, and it says, "This makes no sense."
Wait, if I have tongues up, does the rock smashy like translate in my head?
Yeah, it's just a word salad. It doesn't. mean
Okay,
anything.
wait. So do that again, but like, okay, that one, not that one. No. Okay, so the first one. Okay, that means hi. All right, and then that second one.
How long do you play this game? No, because genuinely, if you guys are like walking to Neurostema
And we're doing
you
this.
just
I think
want to
we're
learn
absolutely
things,
doing
all
this.
right,
Learning
I'll say
rock.
each one of you can make a wisdom roll under.
Lark is not gonna.
So roll under your wisdom and tell me what the result is.
Under the wisdom?
Yeah.
Wait, like try to roll under
Yeah.
our wisdom?
The lower the roll, the better.
I
Can I?
rolled my exact wisdom score.
I rolled
You
under.
learn yes and no.
Are we adding anything to this?
No.
So that's a 2.
You rolled a 2?
Yeah, 2.
You actually pick up, I'm going to say you pick up like a smattering of Primordial. Like you learn more than just yes and no. You learn like
Do I learn?
directions.
Okay.
You learn like
Is this
simple descriptive words like strong. You learn like earth, wind, fire, and water. And
Is this primordial or is this terra?
this is Primordial.
Okay.
I got
Would
a
I know
9.
primordial, or
You
Which is
also
quite a
learn
bit.
a smattering of some words.
would I know primordial because that's what I'm speaking to these rocks, or is it? Am I just trying to am I just speaking a language?
No, your ability to communicate with them using this
Okay, yeah.
is somehow related
Magical.
to what happened at the crystal.
Awesome.
I speak a bit of rock.
We
now.
can keep learning this.
Are we riding on top of this big stone, guys?
You can.
I think we're gonna
Be
do
kind
that.
of fun.
Yeah, I
It
wanna-
doesn't increase or decrease your speed. They basically just move at 30 feet around.
Do you think we?
Unless
we
you
can-
want them
we
to
can
go
ride them
faster.
when they're rolling?
I think you might get crushed. We can ask.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
do dung beetles exist in this world?
Sure.
Would we be familiar with them?
Yeah.
That means we would be pushing them.
No, we ride on them.
Huh?
We get on top.
Yeah.
They're rolling. You're running backwards on them.
That's not gonna work. Ahkum,
That seems counterproductive.
That's
Why don't we
yeah.
just, like,
Why don't we just
or run
run?
at our own speed?
Because they might.
Because they might roll faster.
But we have to walk. We have to run the opposite direction at the same speed that they're going.
What if they're
forward.
faster than us, huh?
We gotta be faster then.
Winnie,
I can't go.
can you ask them if there's any way they can get us to travel faster? Or
Mr. Rock guys.
get us specific.
Can we go any faster?
They don't respond to you.
Oh.
You hear Winnie ask this, and you understand what Winnie's asking.
I think
But
you
they
got
don't
it.
respond
Do
to
I
Winnie.
have to do it?
You're the rock master.
I'm the rock master. Can we go faster?
They start breaking into a jog,
Oh.
and that jog takes about a minute to kick in.
We're on
Now
top
they're
of that.
jogging. So
We're
now
on
you're going
top of
about 45
Yeah.
around.
Hey, all right.
Hey, that's my speed.
And it seems like they're just in a jog.
I think
Now
this
we
is-
can ride on them.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Do you ask them to go faster?
Come on.
Can you reasonably go faster?
Running like this? Yes. They pick up their pace, and now the giants are sprinting. I want you to understand the amount of noise this is making. Now, you guys
gonna
have
fuck with
not
it?
you guys have not run across a single person of any kind. But you're moving at like 90 feet.
We
Around.
should stop before we get to the
And-
city because it takes a while for them to slow
Yeah, we
down.
should probably. They're gonna think we're in
I
a
mean, like
comes
the wind is
inside.
in your hair. Like they're hauling.
Like in a mile with the alchemist.
As
Hey,
soon as we're
wait.
inside, I'm gonna have them begin to slow down.
The city's not in sight for a while.
Okay.
Hey, wait.
But you are making superb time, and as the terrain changes, you do see occasional trees and stuff. It's still that rocky kind of somewhat sandy soil, but you're moving at a great speed. And mid-afternoon, with your supervision, you see a coastal city in sight.
How fast is it approaching?
And by the way, you know this because there's also a river, like a sizable river that comes from the mountains, from the lake towards the coast, that leads to and connects to Nerostema at the coast. So
So are
that's
they-
their freshwater source. So you actually see the river like kind of to the north as you're heading east, and then with your supervision, you see like on the horizon. So do you tell them to start slowing down?
Yes.
Okay, so as you get this instinct, and Winnie was correct, it takes like 2 minutes for them to slow back down to walking mode. So now you guys are within a mile, and you actually see like you come across like a road. It's not like paved, it's just a regularly used kind of rocky dirt road. You see like wagon tracks and horse hoof prints and stuff. So you know that this is somewhat used. Along the coast, as you see the coast, you see the ocean. You see like small kind of fishing enclaves, like little cottages by the sea with like docks and fishing shacks, and you see little small fishing boats kind of along that.
Should we bring these guys into a city?
I think we should park them somewhere.
Yeah, I think that if we went to O'Hero, I think the Stratos would have just shot us like 5 miles
Yeah, but
ago.
the Stratos are dumb and
I know they're dumb and
I've
stupid.
never met these
They're
guys.
awful. They're
I've never had-
horrible. Don't.
I'm aware that they're dumb and stupid, but a lot of guard forces are dumb and
when the statues were
stupid.
moving,
Okay,
when
go.
the elementals were moving 90 feet.
Yes.
Was that like their full speed, or
That was their full running in humanoid form speed.
Okay.
You didn't test the rolling.
No, I'm asking like that's the base walking speed. Presumably, if they were to dash, it would be 180.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Because if it was 90 dashing, that I can move.
At their fullest speed, you guys have to understand too. They're 12 feet tall, so they're taking these deep, almost like gazelle running strides with their rock legs. So each stride in the full running form is a massive chunk of space. Like looking back behind you, you're like, oh, no one will have any problem whatsoever tracking us because there's massive, like,
Yeah, what are they gonna do when they
2 foot
find
deep,
us, huh?
like, imprints going all the way back
You
from where
fuck
you
with
were.
us, you fuck with the rock boys. All right.
The rock.
Yeah, they can track us, but then we also have 6 giant rocks.
Valid.
Yeah, what are they gonna
All
do?
right, so you guys are within a mile of Neurostema.
Do we just? I think we tell him to wait somewhere, or go back or something. Because I think we can just go by foot from here.
Well, here's the thing: if we drop in here for like a little bit, right? We could still get back on these guys and then rush towards the mountains.
That's true. I don't want to stay in the city.
Yeah, I think that was the plan, right? To just try to tell
And
someone.
you guys are gone by tomorrow, right? Or how long are you here?
At dawn.
And dawn.
What time is it right now?
It's mid-afternoon. You guys made
Okay.
fantastic time.
Let's just drop in. Let's try to talk to whoever and say, oh, the ogres. We're here to talk about the ogres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna warn them, and then we leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
We go to the mountains.
You speak primordial now, which might be good because I don't try and speak that.
Me? Oh, him?
No, Ahkum.
So what do you command them to do?
Oh, I should cast stones again. Good idea. Where'd my pencil go?
We'll get a bit closer to this. You guys wait here. Maybe try to conceal yourselves.
Do you guys dismount?
Yeah.
And they kind of transform her back into boulders. The cracks are still evident.
We'll be back hopefully before dawn, and by then I think we'll be moving towards the mountains. But yeah, we're gonna you guys stay here.
Should we leave Vermont with them? Most people aren't used to a 5 foot tall specter. I mean, no offense.
Oh, yeah.
But
I know you.
Vermont's with us.
I know. Okay.
Wait, oh,
He
here.
might, he
Here.
might eat a
We should put
kid.
some clothes on him, perhaps.
Mr. Ram,
He's big enough now. Yeah.
how large is my basket?
Not that big.
Okay.
Does anyone have?
Vermont-
I pull out like an extra shirt I have, I think.
Yeah, I think we all have like
I'm gonna
extra
try and like
clothes.
fit it on for Vermont.
Okay, so Vermont can put on a shirt with 2 of its arms, and the other 2 it'll
Oh,
have
yeah.
to like.
We can cut holes in
Make the
it.
holes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Spectre wearing a novelty t-shirt that says, yes, I am human.
Just to be clear, his head area still looks very much like a specter.
Should I
So,
like druid craft? Like yes.
like right now, you kind of like dobbied him. So, I mean, like
Master's
He-
gonna dump me a
Your
shirt.
basket, your basket.
What about us?
Put it on his head.
On his head.
No, I need them to carry things.
Yeah.
If I put it on its head, then it'll be upside down. And if it's upside down, then he might get hit by a
Wait.
bear trap.
Probably hide in my mane a little at
Wait.
least.
Does anyone
somewhat.
have like
You're
a?
Sit on your
really
shoulders. He's like a little
Wait.
boy now.
Does anyone
Yeah.
have a mask or anything that we could give him? Like
You don't need to.
all right.
If anyone
You
asks
don't need a
questions,
That's our boy.
shouldn't.
That's our boy.
There's
Yeah.
there's like a bunch of wild races
Do
that
you
come up to me
gesture?
every day.
yeah.
Alright.
to the man.
so Vermont is like, and he crawls up, and with his shirt arms, he's wraps his arms around you, and his lower arms kind of wrap under your chest, and he
Backpacks.
backpacks.
Awesome.
With tongues, I'm just gonna be like, so maybe be a little quiet while we're here. Don't eat anyone.
He's gone mad for the power.
We're gonna go to town then.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
walking to
going-
Neurostema. Just a
So
normal-
as I mentioned, you guys,
Yeah.
you come across a road or a path.
I think we'll follow
You
it.
could follow that in, and you're kind of going towards what looks like maybe the south wall, the south gate of the walled coastal city of Neurostema, and you're within sight of the coast, and the smell of like the sea air is kind of prominent. It's a very different kind of experience for most of you, having not been this close to the coast. And as you get really close, I'm talking like within couple hundred yards, you see that it looks like maybe outside of the city walls at some point there were encampments, maybe travelers and traders, and you see tents. You even see a couple like wagons, but it's empty. No one is amongst these tents. The wind is just kind of blowing flaps through.
I don't think we search tents. I think we just keep going.
Yeah,
Yep.
we talk to the gate.
Okay. As you're getting closer, you're within sight, and you see a 30-foot tall stone wall, and there is a gate at the terminus of this road. The gates are closed and they're barred, and atop the wall, along the top of the wall, the rampart, you see guards, kind of like in positions with longbows, and you see like pots of flaming oil, and you see like some of the guards like looking down at you guys. And again, you're still like a football field away, but you see them like looking.
I'll do the talking here.
Do you
Yeah.
speak primordial?
Do we need to speak primordial?
I don't know. Hello there.
I
Okay.
think we have to get closer.
And you see them kind of like look,
Mark, I think we have to get closer.
and you see one of the guards is like doing something behind the wall, and then you see one of them pull up this long post with a white tattered kind of like white sheet of cloth, and they wave it back and forth.
Oh no, we come in peace.
And you see they kind of wait. Do you guys continue approaching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did they just surrender to us?
When you get within about 60 feet, you notice that all the guards on the top are Kamina. They're all in armor, they all have spears and longbows and shields, and you see the one that was waving the white flag. He says, "Stop right there." He's like, what are you doing?
We come with a warning.
Where from? From where do you hail?
Yes.
Around.
Oh, hero, kind of.
Oh yeah, yes, oh hero.
And you hear him here goes, "Oh, hero." You hear other voices on the wall go, "Oh, hero, oh, hero. Open the gates, open the gates." And a few moments later, you hear the sounds of chains and movement, and the gates go like they creak open, and you see these massive wooden gates that are banded with iron across, like just all over them. They start to open, and they open literally maybe just enough for you guys to get in. And you see two guards like run out, and they look both ways, and they're like, hurry up, get in here." They're like,
happening?
you see like they're looking out towards the coast, and they're like, hurry.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Florian's-
I'll
Security.
leisurely stroll in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
think I just
so
walk.
you guys come in, and there's an initial kind of like what I'll call like a foyer, almost like an interior gate yard, where there's walls, not 30-foot tall wall like the exterior wall, but like 12-foot tall walls, and that's kind of what you walk into is this entrance. And there's another set of smaller gates that are closed. As soon as you all get in, the two guards come in. They signal, and the rest of the team closes the gates, and they close shut. One of the guards looks at you, and he's a tall Kamina guard, and he says, "How did you get here?
We walked.
We walked.
From O'Hero?
Yes.
Yeah.
You live?
Yeah.
What? But how?"
What do you mean?
"We've heard many things." He says, "It's not for me to speak of. Let me bring you to the captain.
It's good. We
Come this way."
okay.
They go over to the interior gate and make a signal. That gate opens up. You guys go through this gate, and you now are inside of the southern half of the city. Neurostema is bisected by the river that goes from the mountains and provides their fresh water and then empties out into the sea. And the southern half of the city is where you guys are now. You see beautiful, amazing buildings that look like they're kind of more recently constructed, maybe within the last 20 or 30 years. And they show a breadth of architecture that you just have not seen in O'Hero. Whereas O'Hero is more like a battered fortress built into the mountains with stonework. You see a lot of stonework, but you also see a lot of woodwork and really cool kind of architecture and sort of like domed roofs on some of the buildings, 2- and 3-story buildings, as well as kind of single-story smaller buildings. And the guard leads you to what looks like kind of a long barracks. And you go inside, you walk down this hallway, you see other soldiers, and you start to notice something. There are a lot of soldiers that are kind of like in infirmary, like wounds, like slashes and gashes, and they're covered in bandages. You see priests like going around trying to do like healing and like medicine and stuff. It looks like they've been engaged in battle. And the guard leads you to an office and he knocks and he says, "Captain, 4 travelers from Ohiro. They say they have news. Bring them in." And the door opens and you see an office. It's a pretty sizable room. And seated behind a desk, you see a Triton wearing armor, scaled armor. He stands up and he looks at all of you, kind of like surprised almost.
Do I fit in the room?
You have to duck. Every doorway you go through, you have to duck, like significantly. He looks at all of you kind of with shock and surprise.
11 right now.
And he says, "Please sit." And he gestures to a large kind of table. There's chairs. You notice that on this table are maps, looks like maps of Ohiro, and there's kind of markings on the maps. And you notice he has like these heavy kind of stone figurines, almost as if he's plotting out stuff. And it looks like maybe a map of Neurostema. And you notice that there's like troop figurines around different spots. And then you notice like ships that are like in what would be the coastal waters, and you notice at least half of them are turned sideways as if they've been knocked down. You also see like other symbolic stones placed to the north. He says, "I am Captain Devon. How is it that you came to be here?"
We walked.
We walked.
You walked from Ohiro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Were you there for the siege, or did you escape before?
Oh,
The siege.
was it a dragon?
Ogres.
Dragon?
Ogres?
I've not heard of dragons.
Okay, then don't worry about that.
There is an army of giants and ogres.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's
They have
what
laid
we-
siege to Ohiro.
That's what we came here.
A courier from the Stratos came to warn us.
Yeah.
God damn it.
He was heavily wounded.
Good. Kind of.
He said their ship was attacked.
Bye.
And he seems confused. He's like, how did you
hid in
walk
the
here?
woods.
Along the coast?
No,
in
through
the
the
woods.
forest.
Is there something on the coast?
From
He
the
says-
valley into the forests and the plains.
There's more ogres coming here.
The ogres were in the valley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is how they came to be in Ohiro?
I think so.
When we saw them, they were coming this way.
Is that true? Were they coming this
No.
way?
They were going south
Yes,
through
they
the
were-
valley towards Ohiro.
They were going. Yeah, they were going towards our hero, Florian.
You did not walk along the coast then.
No.
No.
That is why. Ohiro is besieged by an army of ogres and giants. We have been attacked by an invasion from the sea.
Of ogres
No,
from the sea?
Vorlaki. They have come once again.
These bugs?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh.
He says half of our navy has been destroyed. All of the coastal villages have been abandoned, and all citizens have come here. They have attacked for the past 3 nights. We have done our best to fend them off, but they've breached the city twice.
I mean, we have something that could help
For the night.
Yeah. For the night.
For this night, yeah.
By what names are you known? I apologize. I am Captain Devon
I'm
of the
Flor-
Triton Guard.
I'm Florian.
Florian, well met.
Ahkum.
Ahkum.
Winifred?
Winifred.
Spark.
Spark.
Again.
He says,
Again. What?
I must admit, I am surprised that you live to come with whatever information you have, but can you tell us anything? You have not seen the Vorlaki since you did not walk along the coast or travel by boat, but what can you tell us about what besieges Ohiro, this army?
They're ogres and giants, and they have armor and weapons.
Yeah, they're not
A
dumb.
bit of trading as well as it would it look like.
How could this come to pass?
Don't look at me.
It is not simply an ogre horde.
No, they throw things at people. They have like
Strategy?
strategy.
What they do?
They have pieces of armor that they've strapped to themselves.
He seems very bewildered. Not like he doesn't believe you, but he's just like almost in shock. Like he's like, this is not common. It is not possible. How could this be?
While this is happening, Florian's sort of in the back of the room. He's not too comfortable in the city environment. The big helmet with the antlers on it, green glow, will appear on his head, and he's gonna, and when you will hear in your head, do we talk about the dragon?
Back in your head, do we want to talk about the dragon? I feel like, I don't know how well they could. Can you ask Ahkum or Lark?
Ahkum, do we talk about the dragon?
So there's this dragon. Zamai, I think, may be awakening.
We're trying to stop that, though.
We're trying to stop that as well.
Yeah, which is.
There's a lot that's been going on. Do you think
How by what means did you come to discover this?
a fire kid told us Zamai is awakening?
Well, we were in Ohiro, right? And a Genasi boy from a volcano nearby told us.
You saw a genasi?
Yeah. What? They're not.
A fire genasi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a city?
I mean, he wasn't from the city. He was like from a village in like a volcano nearby. But yeah.
I saw a little green man.
And essentially, there is
A little.
a dragon by the name of Zamai who's
Goblin
something
size.
part of the the 13 or
goblin.
something.
It's
I
very
don't. It's some
explicit.
kind of number that's maybe waking up. We're trying to stop that though. We're going to find some guy who can hopefully banish it back. This was our stop though, because we were going to warn you about the ogres, but you already know about the ogres. Yeah.
Warn us that the ogres are coming here as well?
That they're just in general around. We didn't know if you were aware of them at all.
He says, did you see any evidence of such an ogre army coming here to Neurostema?
No, but we can't be sure I mean, we don't know what they're doing.
They would.
It's been 2-3 days, 4.
Yeah, since Ohiro, yeah.
We can help you out with.
He says,
bugs.
how many days ago?
We saw the ogres 3 or 4 days ago, heading south.
2 or 3, I feel like.
2 or 3.
He says, you must have seen them just prior to the beginning of the siege.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make sense. The siege on Ohiro began at least 4 days ago.
Please? Maybe there's more?
I don't get it. This is too much math.
What else is in the direction of Ohiro? What other towns?
Nothing.
Nothing? Ugh.
This is too much math.
This.
Hey, Winny,
Huh?
do you think there was maybe something weird happening in Sibylla's place with time?
I'm thinking the woods.
Arcana check?
That would also
Go ahead.
make sense.
13.
You don't get the sense that there were any temporal disruptions. You don't feel like time was different or passed differently or was in any way changed.
And we saw the ogres.
He gestures to the like map that he has laid out, and he shows you kind of along the valley. He says, if you encountered them in the valley,
Yeah.
You said 3 days passed. The siege of Ohiro by an army of ogres and giants began at least 4 or 5 days ago, because the one courier from the Stratos traveled for 3 days to come warn us. Which means that what you saw was not the same invasion force of Ohiro. It means that there are more.
Well, they were running the opposite direction, I hear.
He says, I appreciate truly this news, and I will update the other captains. But perhaps you should speak with the water priest concerning these things.
Would there be any reason they would need reinforcements for an ogre army?
That might,
And who would send for them?
How many, numbers-wise, did you see in the valley?
Hundreds.
Hundreds.
There's more than I can count.
more than 100.
Hundreds more of ogres
We
would
killed
be.
a few of them.
There is no way that Ohiro could hold out against such a
No.
massive force. No way. If they were already besieged and struggling and sent a courier for help, there is no way they could survive an additional reinforcement force of that many ogres and giants. They sent the courier to let us know of the siege and to ask for reinforcements. We cannot help them. We are being invaded by the Warlocki. Half of my navy, and he gestures to the table and the fallen little like ships, the miniature ships. He says, half of my navy has been destroyed. Even if I could spare the soldiers to assist them, I would have no way to get there except over land. He says, you didn't travel along the coast?
No.
No.
You traveled through the forest?
Yep.
And he looks at all of you. Make insight checks.
I have advantage because I have the helmet thing on.
Finally, a good roll. 18.
Not
15.
15, 18,
22.
19, 22. All of you are fairly certain that his demeanor now has changed. He seems very suspicious of you. And he says, I see. You traveled through the forest.
Do you not believe us?
He looks at all of you, and then he looks at, he kind of ends his gaze on you, and he says, no, I believe you now. It makes more sense.
Anyway, so you have a problem fighting people, war right now?
We are being invaded by the Warlocki.
I mean, we can help.
I happen to have 6 very helpful friends until dawn.
The giant stone statue things.
He
Perhaps
says,
if we can fend off this invasion, can you send help to Ohiro?
perhaps, but we have but a few hours left until dusk, and then I assume they will attack again as soon as it is dark. If you are willing to help us and you have some form of reinforcement to assist against the Warlocki horde, your assistance would be most welcome.
Ahkum, I think you should go get your
Do you have like
friends.
a big horn or like funnel that I can yell out of?
He says, I do, but this is frankly above my station. We must speak to the water priest, and she will then decide if your proposal should be accepted and proffered to the crowned bishop.
You guys go do that. I'll go grab Huey, Louie, Dewey, Stewie, and
Bluey.
Louie. Thank you. I said Louie twice. There's 2 Louies.
Bluey.
Bluey, I like that one.
So the Captain Devon basically tells you that he will take you to meet with the water priest, and she will hear you, and from there make the decision. You are going outside of the gates to go get
and go get the six.
Okay, so Ahkum and Vermont leave the city. As you're leaving, Captain Devon says you must be back before nightfall. He has no idea that your boulders are like 10 minutes away. He's like, you must be back before nightfall. All the gates are sealed, no matter what. And then he takes the three of you towards the river, towards the center of the city. And when you get close to the river, you see a small building made of stone. It is painted a vibrant kind of green color. And there are like columns, a colonnade that kind of goes around it. He leads you up, and there's no door in the doorway. It's just an open doorway of stone that's like 12 feet tall. He leads you up, and you sense that you were in some kind of temple. He walks through this empty temple and goes down a corridor. You guys are following him, and you've come to some kind of small altar or like prayer alcove, and you see like bowls of water, and you see like carvings all over of like different aquatic creatures. And he stops and kneels, and he like gestures to you guys and to like kneel. And he says, I call upon the water priest for counsel and wisdom. And he takes this small mallet and he kind of hits the end of one of these like metallic bowls filled with water, and it makes this like odd sort of chiming sound, like a gong almost. And a few moments later you hear like a sound of footsteps, like bare feet kind of footsteps. And you see a Triton woman emerge from these curtains just past the altar. And she comes out, and she's wearing kind of this long, like, green robe. And she looks at the three of you, and she looks at the captain, and she says, speak, your counsel. I will hear you now. And Captain Devon says, these three and their comrade have come from Ohiro. They have a proposal to make. We ask that you hear their proposal in defense of Neurostema. And she looks at you guys again and she says, speak of your proposal.
We have 6 giant stone statues, and we want to fight bugs with them.
We think we can help with the invasion over by the sea, and in return, our friend would like some reinforcements sent to Ohiro. But we think we can really help with the bug thing going on with the ocean.
She says, you will also fight?
I don't see why not.
Sure, I got these, and I pull out 2 potions of water breathing.
Oh, yeah.
I can go punch some underwater bugs.
She looks at both of you, and then she turns and looks at Lark. You will fight on behalf of Neurostema?
Sure.
Our good friend Spark.
You speak of stone. Your friend, he has stone giants, stone creatures.
Ahkum's going over to get them. He was yelling a lot on a big stone pillar today, and now we have friends.
She says, be prepared. Wait here. I will speak with the crowned bishop. She turns and goes back through the curtains, and you hear her like footsteps walking, and then you hear like the sound of kind of like movement in water, almost like the sound of somebody's getting into a bathtub or getting into a pool. Like you hear like water sloshing. The Triton guard Devon waits quietly there And you see he's actually kind of begun to pray quietly to himself.
Okay, real quick. I don't mean to pause, but I do have to be somewhere at 4. So, but also, I'm gonna cast message on Florian, and I'm gonna say, I think it's a little weird. I think that if they have to go through so many people to get a message across to whoever, no wonder they've been attacked so many times. Takes forever for communication.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I still have this like giant antlered green helmet like on my face. I don't like this place. I don't like cities. There's too many people here.
Yep.
Eh.
I think message ends.
No, I can keep doing this. I got the helmet thing.
Okay.
You got
It's one of the-
telepathy.
It's not telepathy. It's
You know.
I can talk and exactly one person can hear it.
Yeah.
It's weird. So my mouth is moving, but if like I'm not targeting you, you cannot hear it, which is very funky.
As you guys wait, Josh, you make it back out to your stones. They're exactly where they were.
All right, stone people. How do you feel about fighting bugs from the ocean?
We serve the servant.
I'm gonna go fight some bugs from the ocean. Want to do that with me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Start walking back over to Narrowstama.
All right, you turn and start walking, and they start rolling.
Oh.
They're like, do you wish us to take
Yeah.
humanoid form?
Just take me with you.
They stop rolling, and then they stand up, and one of them picks you up, and then they form the columns again and start marching towards Narrowstama. You guys wait for a good 10 minutes, and then you hear the splashing sound, and
At this point, my helmet's gone.
the water priest returns, and she parts the curtain, and her robe is just soaked, like obviously soaking wet from head to toe. And she says, the crowned bishop has agreed to your proposal. You and your friend and servants will fight to defend Narrowstama. If the city survives the invasion, the crowned bishop will send a host of soldiers to help liberate O'Hero. Do we have an accord?
Yeah.
Sure, yes.
Eh.
She grabs the mallet that Captain Devon had picked up, and she strikes the water bowl once, and it rings out. The captain will instruct you on the necessities of our defense. She turns and goes back behind the curtain. And as the captain kind of like nods to you guys, you all stand up from your kneeling position. You leave the temple. You go back towards the southern gate, back to his office. And around that time, you're returning to the city. The captain goes up to the ramparts and sees you coming with your 12-foot tall minions. The good thing is that the gate can open up and it's large enough, but they can't really get inside the interior gate. So the captain comes out and meets you, and he says, would you bring these servants to the coast and around to fortify the eastern wall where the attack begins every night? He
Yeah.
said, if we spread out these 6 magnificent magical things and you are ordering them to defend against the Vorlocki invasion, specifically where they have breached the eastern sea walls, I think we have a chance of success.
I'll convey this and I'll have them.
He says we should go now. He's like, dusk is near. So he actually, you order one of the stone creatures to pick him up, and you march out basically like onto the beach, and they're walking in the water. So they're like 6 feet deep, walking kind of along the beach. He points out these different spots, and when you get to this side now, you see multiple shipwrecks, like a couple hundred yards out. You see bodies just all sorts of bodies, Triton bodies, human bodies floating in the sea, just kind of, up onto the shore. You see multiple areas where the stone has been like just sundered and breached. And he kind of instructs you where to have your minions sort of posted. And you see almost every guard and soldier along the walls, along the eastern walls, looks like they haven't slept or have been wounded. All of them. And you also see some interesting variety in that. Like, you see a couple turtles, like, armed. You see some loxodons, tritons. You see lizard folk, and you see Kamina. All of these different citizens of Neurostema that basically have concentrated on defending this most, dangerous stretch of the seawall to defend their city. Okay. And as the sun is fading, all of you guys kind of gather. Captain Devon brings together a host of soldiers and lays out his plan for you guys to help defend Neurostema. And that is where we're going to end this episode of D&D with high school students. Thanks for liking and subscribing and for watching and all your support. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace out, everybody.
Well, hello, and welcome to Bill Allen World. I am Wizzy, the Wizard. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. Tune in to the next episode of whatever show you were just watching, and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that, because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.